Hello, and welcome all to the final, 13th, final part of this entirely unexciting Zelda 2 Let's Play, walkthrough playthrough. The name is Carlos. I am also Specs. I'm also Handsome Fat Man. I'm also Axel Hander. I'm also a great many things to a great many people. Some would call me God. No, nobody sane would do that, but I'm sure somebody insane would. That's what the spell does. Those fuckers on the fence can only be killed with thunder, which is terribly inefficient, or spell, which turns them into helpless bots. I opted for spell. This lava-filled corridor is the Valley of Death. It is really, really hard, and I don't really want to deal with this one scripted tile, so I'm going to let a random battle here happen. The random battles also have lava, so they're very dangerous. And a little bit of interesting trivia: if you come here without the candle, this entire place will be dark. So yeah, that'll be a fun little run attempt I'll make. The blue moas I talked about last time, fuckers have talked about before. No new enemies on this stretch except maybe the blue Lizalfos, which I'll talk about when they come up. So, the Valley of Death was very overwhelming to me when I first played this game because I didn't know that Palace 6 was hidden, so I saw the Great Palace off the corner of my map, and I totally thought that must be Palace 6, so I went there first. And the barrier, because I didn't do all the dildo statues, was up. And when you continue off a game over from the Great Palace, you start at the Great Palace, so I was, it was kind of infuriating. Anywho, so I had to trek all the way back and go find the 6th Palace. But whatever. Valley of Death. Very difficult stretch. Lava-filled cave network. But it is conquerable. So we're gonna go through this battle here with the moas. I always wait for the moas to get cleared out, because I don't want anything to hit me on my way to escaping the scene. Because the moas can swoop in and gain speed with surprising speed and hit you when you least expect it, so I like to clear them out. I didn't bother skipping this scene. I thought, whatever, I'll just go through with it. So cast jump, because as far as I know you need it for this first jump. Maybe you can make it, but I don't want to chance it. Kill the orange Lizalfos there. Wait for these moas, so I can take care of them before I get knocked into the lava. That was kind of dangerous, because if I miss, I would have for sure got hit into the lava, but whatever. Gonna kill that fucker very carefully. Make that jump, kill another Lizalfos. And I believe it should be home free for this scene. Alright, so here, this cave has the same enemies we encounter on the outside, just with the drab, boring cave scenery. I need to go through 2 such caves before I get to the Great Palace. Not sure why I stopped to fight the fuckers. Maybe I was hoping for magic, but I got it there. So, Zelda 2. What have I realized this playthrough? Well, honestly, even though I trumpet this game's virtues, it really is not as good as I'm hyping it out to be. I wish there was another like it. I wish Nintendo would try again. Let me rephrase that. I wish another company... These are blue Lizalfos, they throw maces that are unblockable, but they are still easier to deal with than the blue Iron Knuckle. Worth a lot more experience, though. But, it's a shame that Nintendo doesn't want to try this again, and maybe it's for the best, because modern Nintendo and I do not agree with each other at all. So, there is that Adventure Time game by Way Forward. Adventure Time, Ice King, Why Did You Steal Our Garbage? Hey Ice King, whatever the title is. And that was very risky. and like, I haven't played it yet, but I hear it's very short. I wouldn't mind playing it regardless, though. And that's the only other Zelda 2-esque game I can think of other than the Wonder Boy titles. I can't really think of any others. And that's a damn shame, because they are fun games. I love this side-scrolling RPG element, the type of thing where you platform and you explore. And I don't feel that there are enough games that do that. It's really enjoyable for me, because I like 2D platforming, and even though I don't play them as often as I used to, I do love RPGs, so I'd like to combine both of these things. Like, there are action RPGs with real-time battle systems like the Tales games, but even the Tales games that are good, and there aren't that many, you know, it's not quite the same. It's more like your traditional RPG battle, but that just happens to happen in real time. You don't traverse the landscape in real time, which is what I'm looking for. So here, defeat that red Lizalfos. Very nice. And here it is, the Great Palace. That barrier there would not have come down if not for the jewels placed in the dildo statues. Great Palace is a maze with a lot of dead ends, really annoying. Here's how you get through it. Every time you go down an elevator and you end up in a room that looks like this one, you go left, right, right, left, and you will get through the Great Palace. Died there, didn't heal in time. But yeah, every time a room starts like this, you take an elevator down and it's like this, you go left, right, right, left. And that will get you to the boss. There's another trick involving a glitch. I'm not going to do it this playthrough, maybe I'll make another video at some point showing it. So these enemies are called Fokkas. I've heard them called other names. I call them irritating. They take quite a lot of hits and do quite a bit of damage, and the fire will either stay in place or home in towards you. The jump I make here is over a fake floor, because I would have fallen onto the bots, and those bots take quite a few more hits than your average. So again, this room looks like the last one, this time we go right. And unfortunately, there are quite a few empty, boring hallways in this palace, but there are certainly tough enough enemies to make the trip exciting. You'll see quite a few of them when we get to them. Cross this lava bridge and proceed. So this big open room contains... what does it contain again? Another Fokkiru. And those flames, I'm not sure if it's every set number of flames that homes in on you or not, but certainly enough. Oh, I made it up there. Certainly enough that you have to be on your guard and avoid getting hit with them. These orange heads take a bit more damage to kill than the other ones in other palaces, but are otherwise the same. Just gonna go through this little block structure here. These enemies are not too complicated. They're very similar to enemies that I've already encountered, so I will proceed. And now here we find our first encounter with a Fokka, otherwise known as the Hawk Knights or Dread Hawks. Hawk Knights are irritating, and there are two options when you find one. You fight or you run, and if you choose to run, you run fast, because if you notice there, he chases. They keep repeatedly jumping, and they will not relent until you leave the screen. Actually, you can scroll them off screen, they will still come after you. You have to actually go to, like, the screen has to blank out and load the next scene, basically. I chose to run from that one, partly because at the time I didn't want to deal with them, I wasn't quite mentally ready, and to show just how much they would give chase. They come in red and blue varieties, are worth a surprisingly little amount of experience for the effort. Go right here. Go right, Link, there you go. Worth a surprisingly small amount of experience for the raw effort it takes to kill one, and are probably the toughest normal enemy in the game. The red and blue grinders are both the same. The blue ones just take more hits to kill. Maybe they do more damage. They're basically blue iron knuckles on steroids. They are crazy, crazy enemies. And I don't think they've appeared in other Zeldas yet. I know Iron Knuckles have, but not the Hawk Knights. What's going on here? Wanted to see if there was some magic in that Hawk Knight statue up there. Just killed his head first. There was not, and I'm not dealing with that, so I moved on. So, there are two strategies for fighting a Hawk Knight. I'm about to encounter one, and I'm going to show you one. In those rare cases where you have the high ground on one, if you have 4 units exactly, you can crouch and slash at them as they jump up at you. They can't reach you, and you can stick your sword out to hit them in the face as they come close to you. The other strategy involves fighting one face-to-face. You will see that happen before this palace is done. So Zelda 2, I was talking about, it's probably not as good as I think it was, you know, kind of drab, a lot of the same scenes repeat. This game needs a remake with more variety, because its base mechanics are not entirely, like, they're not flawed. They're just surrounded by a game that maybe could have used a bit more inspiration from the designers. Maybe it was the limits of the Famicom disk system this was originally designed for. Who knows? But, for my money, still a really fun game. Here's how you fight a Hawk Knight head-on. You wait until they go over you, and you do an up thrust. It doesn't always work, but it's better than trying to run from one when your health is low, or, you know, trying to fight them like you would an Iron Knuckle. Those are the King Bubbles, or King Anti-Fairies. Just take a few hits, they don't give you experience. If you hit them a few times and wait, they'll split up into 2 littler ones. No point doing that, though. This hidden wall will lead to a statue with magic. There was one earlier, I think I was talking while we got to it. Yeah. I didn't actually know about these until fairly recently when I saw a speedrun. Not a speedrun, but a guy trying to finish the game as fast as possible, not an official speedrun. And they totally went to this wall. I'm like, I didn't know this. Jesus. Learn something new about this game every day. So here, the correct path to go is down. To the right is a ferry. If you're low on health, you can carefully navigate down and get the ferry. Here, we get an extra life. You have to be careful when the lava goes all the way up to a block like that, to a platform. Because if your toe kind of steps on the lava, even if you're still on the platform, you'll sink into it. Many a bad ROM hack has that as a quote-unquote feature. In one case, before you get the candle, because that's fair and excellent game design, right folks? ROM hacks. Some are good. So now that I've got the life, I'm going to head back on the path to the Triforce of Courage. Now we go left. That is the final fork. And this will lead us to the end game. These guys are real annoying. They're a variant of the Hammer Brothers fight earlier in, I guess, with the Blue Shredder motherfuckers, but what do you do? One of these blocks is covering a false hole, which you need to break and fall into to proceed. I thought it was the 7th one from the left, it's actually the 6th. And down we go. So I totally forgot while I was playing this that this happens. And I freaked out and totally upstabbed on reaction. Those are king bots. They do quite a bit of damage if they touch you, but if you hit them, they split up into several smaller bots. Next, we have to fall into this hole here. Sweet! And from here, we will encounter the penultimate boss, the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird is tough. To even make him vulnerable, you have to cast Thunder. And then you don't need jump, but it makes life a whole lot easier. Now, this attempt, I kept enough magic for life. Anyone who plays MMOs know what effective health means, and you get more effective health by just casting shield, even if you can't afford a life cast. You have to jump up and hit him in the face jewel area, but when you get him down to half health, this little fireball spread he does starts to become rather dense, and those fireballs do a lot of damage. Watch what happens when I take a hit from one. I have 7 blocks of health left. I should take a hit from one soon, I think. And yeah, that is a lot of damage for level 8 life. Cast life, ouch and ouch, done. But I got quite a few extra lives remaining, so this time I use jump and shield. And ready on the thunder, and this does not leave me with enough for a life cast, but it's okay. That you get more effective health having shield cast. Again, casting it twice doesn't do anything, but I was just being paranoid. So you carefully weave your way around the Thunderbird's fireballs and slash at his head jewel thing. And that is how you defeat him. You simply have to do that enough times to whittle down his life bar. Despite the life bar being 8 units in length for bosses, it's not always 8 hits. That's just a rough guesstimate. Bosses have a set amount of HP, and your sword, depending on its level, does a set amount. I think at level 1 you have to hit this guy 100 sometimes. I think I only need one more hit. Bam! Thunderbird done. So, one final boss to go. And like Karok, there's an easy way to beat him, which is to just crouch in a corner and slash. Unlike Karok, you can actually fight him legit, which I tend to do because even though it's not playing to win, shoutouts to playing to win, David Serlin. Even though it's not playing to win, this is the final damn boss of a game, I kind of want to be challenged, so I fight him head on without the bug. And I resolved that if I got down to my last life, I would abuse it, but whatever. So, to this day, I'm not sure what determines that he gets hit. Even if you crouch in a corner and slash repeatedly, he won't always take the hit. I think slashing at his body parts, I think his hitbox actually changes position as the fight goes, so it's not enough to just try to outmaneuver his shield. You have to actually hit him in the right spot. It's complicated. The game wants it to feel like a sword fight, definitely. At least he doesn't shoot sword beams at you. So, I believe this time is the time that he falls. So I'm just gonna jump slash a whole bunch and hope it works. If you turn into a fairy here, Darklink turns invisible and can still kill you, so there's no point, in case you were wondering. Thunder has no effect, Spell has no effect, just cast Shield, and that leaves you with 2 life casts if you need them. Darklink, Shadow Link, can sword attack while moving left and right. While being on the ground, he can strafe, basically. But eventually, cast life just for good measure. Eventually, Darklink will fall. Eventually, Darklink will fall. Eventually, sometime in the future, he will fall down. There we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. The Guardian of the Triforce of Courage forks it over because I would kick the shit out of him if he didn't. And it's time to awaken not the Zelda Link saved in the first game, but a different ancient Zelda who Link will proceed to mac with, just thus breaking the first Zelda's heart. And that is the true tragedy. Don't know how to talk. And bam! Here is your ending, folks. Because my throat is scratchy and I need to cough a whole bunch, I'm gonna stop talking. Y'all, have a good evening. Thank you for watching. And please look forward to more games being played in the future, including a couple of alphas and betas of some games you might not have seen yet. Stay tuned.